I was not what you would call an athletic child. I don't think I have to tell you, especially if you're a woman in America, that being called fat is the worst of all the insults. And it's especially bad if it's true. I spent 20 years trying not to be fat. No matter what I accomplished in other areas of my life, the project of not being fat ran through in the background, undermining all of my successes and justifying all of my failures. And like many women and girls in the 1990s who admired Oprah's wagon of fat, making a vision board was my introduction to the powerful potential of inspiration. I grabbed a stack of women's magazines and I cut out pictures of sweaty, tanned, muscular bodies that could be mine with enough dedication and hard work. At the turn of the 21st century, I had moved on from paper and glue to digital cutting and pasting. I was in graduate school, and I kept a weight loss blog where I continued to find and collect inspirational images. And these images now had a name: Fitspo, fitness, inspiration. At the same time that I was taking great pride in remembering that you have to sweat like a pig to look like a fox, I was... Every time I didn't want to do another ab blaster workout, I was doing archival research on women who worked in the freak show. One day, I came across an image of Myrtle Corbin, also known as the four-legged girl from Texas, and this image captivated me for the story it doesn't tell. See, I know this is a promotional photograph that was sold at her performances because in 1881, women didn't generally wear skirts above the knee in formal portraits. Here, not only is she wearing her skirt scandalously lifted above the knee, she's also wearing striped socks to emphasize her unexpected number of legs. And this idea that images of bodies could be exaggerated in ways that do not reflect real life stuck with me and became more important as I researched the freak show. Because the freak show doesn't just show people's weird, anomalous, strange, or odd bodies. It makes specific theatrical choices about how to exaggerate difference in a way that speaks to the audience's fantasies and fears about what it means to be human, what it means to be normal, and what it means to belong. Sociologist Robert Bogdan argues that there are two ways to present freaks: aggrandized and exotic. Aggrandized freaks are presented as having high social status with social connections. They're attractive and well-formed and have many talents, and they're healthy despite their physical abnormality, supposed physical abnormality. Exotic freaks are presented as dangerous and foreign, with not quite human bodies that defy scientific reason. And so I wrestled with this idea that people who bought the photographs didn't recognize their theatricality or fiction, and that they accepted them as representing something pure and true about their subject, just as I had with Fitspo. When I applied Bogdan's theory to the hundreds of Fitspo images I collected, a pattern emerged. Aggrandized fit bodies are lean, have visible muscle, smile, and are sweating because they're doing hard work. Exotic fit bodies are wrinkled, have visible fat, grimace, and are sweating because they are struggling. Exotic is the before, and aggrandized is the after. Fitspo speaks directly to our fears and fantasies about what it means to be strong, healthy, and resilient, what it means to fit in. And it's not just that these images exist, it's what we do with them that matters. Every time you see a Fitspo image, you go through a very fast but meaningful process of interpretation, where you take everything you know about fitness and disability and abnormality and normalcy, and you place yourself on a spectrum. You decide in that moment whether the body you're being shown is one you want to aspire to be like or avoid becoming. And the result of this process is what I call the inspiration gap. And it's easy to fall into because it's the backbone of the mainstream fitness industry, making you believe that your body is not okay as it is, and that if you only buy this product or service or program and do it exactly, you will have a desirable, aggrandized body. But the truth is, there are no aggrandized bodies. There are no exotic bodies. Fitspo is a marketing tool just like the freak show photographs and not a representation of real life. When I decided to reject Fitspo and the idea that fit is a body type, it turns out I love exercise. Thank you. I've maintained a consistent fitness habit for more than 3 years because it turns out I love getting up at 5 a.m. to go to run a 5K. I love picking up heavy things and putting them down again. And what's more, everywhere I went, running clubs, cycling meetups, weightlifting competitions, countless gyms and fitness centers, I found people who didn't describe exercise as a punishment or a torture or a necessary evil. And I didn't recognize many of those bodies from the Fitspo memes. When I founded Ramp and Stair Exercise Club as a Facebook group, I wanted to bring those voices to the center. I wanted to amplify the voices of people who inspire by the way they find joy and peace and resilience and belonging through fitness. Those are the voices I want to hear when we talk about what it means to fit life, and those are the voices that girl on the horse needed to hear. The name Ramp and Stair refers to access, that there's more than one way to get where you want to go, and that we all have a responsibility to think about fitness that includes as many people as possible. I have a lot of privilege that allows me access to fitness communities, including the resources to participate. Unfortunately, there are many barriers to access in fitness, and some of those are ideological, which is why I post my research and my fitness adventures on the page. Some of them are structural, tied to systemic oppressions like the need for safe outdoor spaces and adaptive fitness programs, and the recognition that access, financial access, is critical to participation. This past summer, Ramp and Stair hosted an introduction to paddle sports as a fundraiser for an organization that brings adventure sports to at-risk youth. And I hope to continue those outreach efforts and strive to make fitness activities as accessible as possible. I am committed to inspiring and being inspired by action over aesthetic. So if you have a fitness goal and are looking for inspiration, consider this. Exercise isn't an individual physical accomplishment. It's a celebration of our shared humanity as we move through the world caring for each other and complementing each other's strengths and weaknesses. Inspiration, then, is not something we need to fix what's broken in us, but a spark that we already have that when we share it, drives connection. So find inspiration in someone who's brave enough to try a new activity or persists through a difficult training program. Find inspiration in someone who moves gently and consistently. But more importantly, find inspiration in yourself, what you already do every day that inspires creativity, passion, and courage in others. Because you are already extraordinary. Take pride in the ways that you move your perfect, fit body. You belong. You are always and already one of us. Thank you.